Hi Gemini, welcome to your mid-April 2019 horoscope and tarot reading. Welcome back to the channel if you're a regular here, and please like and subscribe if you are new. We have an Instagram account linked to this channel too if you want to follow there for more regular updates on what's going on with the sky. So Gemini, 10th of April, Jupiter is going to go retrograde in your 7th house. And we know with retrograde energy, it turns your own energy inward. It gives you pause, it gives you time to reflect. And it can oftentimes feel a little bit like this stalling effect. And the areas that stall are the areas that need your attention. You know, retrogrades like to make you sit and take stock of what you're doing. Are you unraveling your own life? Are you messing up things for yourself and your partnerships? Do you have any negative limiting beliefs on partnerships? It's about time they got evaluated. And with a full moon in the 19th in your 5th house that rules pleasure and romance, there really is this kind of soulmate feeling. And not only that, but on the 24th of April, Pluto is going retrograde in Capricorn, your 8th house, which does rule soulmates. In the 29th, Saturn retrogrades in Capricorn, again in that sector. So what do you have to do? You have to reflect, you have to think, but there can also be this sort of conundrum where these people from the past, keep coming in to your life, and sometimes they come in and out, Gemini. There's kind of a deja vu going on here in your romantic life that's really very intriguing. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that, exes come back in the physical realm. It can actually mean that they appear in your dreams and you revisit a lot of past issues if they're still a thing, or you just have this real, I wonder what happened to so-and-so. And then you see so-and-so. It's that kind of, it's weird, I must say. It's a strange time to think about, but if you're very happily invested in somebody new, what actually happens is you may reevaluate the relationship on some level in how it could improve. You may also decide to make commitments, interestingly enough, under this Jupiter cycle. Because Jupiter being in the 7th house, whether it's in retrograde or not, is still a beautiful time for marriages. It's probably the best time for a Gemini to get married. And it will enhance your partnerships in a wonderful way. But if you're single and you feel like there's repetition and there's deja vu, it's really time to nip that in the bud and, try and reflect on it and figure out what's going on, because it's when you have that switch that things start to move. And that's all that retrogrades want to make you do. They want to make you see what switch you need to turn on yourself. Now, Taurus season is your 12th house, so as I say, strange dreams coming up. Then there's a Sun conjunct Uranus on the 22nd of April, and this can really intensify your escapist tendencies, your seclusion, and it's going to make for some freaky dreams, Gemini. It really, really, really is. Psychology, discoveries, interest in, quite dark things, I suppose. Things that could make people's toes curl. A real interest in that for you. I'm getting your teeth into something that just goes a lot beyond the pain. You're not that interested in things on a surface level this April going into Taurus season. You're really interested in thinking things through and getting to the heart of matters. You're almost like an investigator. You're trying to put all the pieces together, and it may make you a little bit paranoid at times, Gemini, but that's okay. Just be mindful of it. Now, Venus will move from Pisces into Aries in the 20th, so romantically speaking as well, we are going to have a bit more of, an uplift. Venus isn't as comfortable in Aries, but there's going to be a more comfortable aspect for you, because Pisces energy for Gemini can be a bit tricky, even if Venus herself feels very comfortable in that sign. So I do get this sense of reflection, Gemini, that's very important. It's very, very irritating at times to look back, but sometimes you need to see something from a different perspective and from a different point in your life to make full understanding of it. So we'll see. Oh, okay, Gemini. Strength right off the bat. An important relationship needs your support is one way that I see that. A very important relationship needs your support. You may be the one giving the support, or you may be the one that needs it. It's hard to be sure. So we shall see. I get the impression you're the one giving it though, because you've got your mind on the future and you don't want to reflect at all, Gemini. Okay. You want to move forward. You want to go quickly. But you'll miss something if you do. This is telling you you need to reflect. You need to sit and think about stuff for a second. Somebody could be rushing back, or you could be rushing back to somebody. The Knight of Swords suggests an energy that happens very quickly. Things just suddenly change. Things are just suddenly apparent. With the world in the positive position, this is in your favor. Okay? This is something that you want to happen. This is a change. This is a transition that you want to see. Full moon in your 5th house, I have to say, with Jupiter retrograde in the partnerships, I do feel like there could be some romantic decision that has great change for you. For some of you, it could be setting a date. For some of you, it could be getting engaged. For some of you, it could be moving the relationship to the next level. And for a lot of you, something could happen out of the blue quite quickly. But you are overwhelmed internally with some kind of situation where you just can't seem to let anybody else in on it. It's as if you have this project or this belief that you're keeping so very private and you don't want anybody else's help, but a Gemini, when they can't talk about things, can get really very angsty. And it's almost as if you are so overwhelmed with what's going on around you or what you're trying to achieve, Gemini, that you miss out on a 2 of Cups moment. That's always kind of the feeling when the 5 of Cups is here. It's as if with all this pause and reflection, you're more inclined to ask what if it doesn't work than what if it does. And you should be asking what if it does. Because the world is in your corner. If you're dealing with a fixed sign, if you're dealing with a Scorpio, a Leo, an Aquarius, or a Taurus, Gemini, they might have news, particularly around the full moon in Libra. They might have news. And I think it will probably affect you quite a lot. It might rock your world a bit. It might change things. The world is also this kind of, we've been here before. We recognize each other's spirits, but we don't necessarily recognize the body type feeling. Two air signs side by side, possibly representing your duality. The side of you that wants to pause, use your logic, use your rationale, and the other side that wants to throw caution to the wind and rush. Which one prevails though? Because I know which one I would rather be. I would rather be the king than the knight. Which one will prevail? Will you sit and reflect and pause and listen to what the universe is telling you? Because it's telling you something. There's something important the universe is telling you. Or will you rush forward blindly to repeat the same mistakes over and over? Now, when I spoke about Taurus season and how it is your 12th house energy and there is this Uranus-Sun conjunction, it would be wise, Gemini, to stay away from alcohol, drugs, anything that's incredibly addictive, because it may rule you. It may make a decision for you. You may find under a Sun-Uranus conjunction in your 12th house, You are processing so much information and so much past information that is sort of like the debris of a shipwreck rising to the surface. And you are finding it hard to be logical. And you don't want to get so engrossed in your own feelings and your emotions that you may snap or you may take a vice. When there's a Sun-Uranus conjunction in your 12th house, I do feel like you could be missing out if you numb your senses, because what will appear to you will be life-changing. What type of feelings, what type of dreams, your subconscious is rewiring itself in a way. And it's a great time to take in therapies, go to a psychologist, a counselor, anything, anyone where you can rattle around the things going on in your brain with a sense of privacy, because that Pluto and Saturn aspect of Capricorn energy means your privacy is actually incredibly important to you, Gemini, which is, not something people understand, but Gemini is actually very private. They just don't mind discussing other people's stuff. But with the Devil here, there's no quick fix, Gemini. There's no way around it. You might have to dig in a lot deeper than you think you will. And you don't want to, because you feel that there's opportunities to be had. We're coming up to your season. You're ready to rev up. Now is not the time. When your season comes along in May, going into June, yes, it'll be the time. But until then, there's something very important that you need to get to grips with. And it could be a past relationship, especially if we're dealing with another air sign, I tell you. But there's something that you need to get a grip with. Now, I am using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Kim Kronz to add a little bit of additional depth to these readings. Ah, yes. Firefly. Beautiful. I love this. I was hoping this would come up for the Sun-Uranus conjunction, because Uranus rules those flashes of genius. And the Firefly is just that. It's a flash of genius. It's an idea. It's a spark. And if you miss it, it's gone. And this is exactly what I was saying about the Sun-Uranus conjunction in your 12th house. You're going to be privy to some sort of magical psychic experience, some sense of awareness, some sense of feeling, that just matters so much in your life's course, in your life's destiny. And it's something that can bring you great opportunities if you make sure that you see it first. If you embrace the feeling, if you embrace the awareness. I love this card for you, Gemini, because it is a very, very unusual month. I get that. But Jupiter is actually linking up with the Sun, I think on the 14th of April. And that is bringing great luck to your partnerships. And I do kind of feel as though a love relationship could appear while Jupiter is retrograding in your partnership sector, or under this particular climate, that could dramatically change or alter your destiny in terms of romance, especially if it's a fixed sign, especially if it's an air sign. But with the Neptune energy connecting with Venus, just bear in mind that not everybody is who they seem. Don't self-medicate, don't numb your senses, because the universe has something to give you. Abundantia, prosperity. Be open to receiving it, because something very, very, very special is happening under this sky. And I do think there is a need to be ready, a need to be aware, and a need to be self-aware. And you will be so psychic and so in tune that it may scare you, but if you numb it, you will miss something, and you don't want to miss it. So I love you guys. I will see you in the next set of readings for Taurus season in May, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.